cushion at the house. Yeah, I got some damn I can come. I don't know what I would do without y'all. I'm about to the day I found out. Yeah, long as my bitches love me. Yeah, I can give a fuck by no hate as long as my bitches love me. Yeah, I can give a fuck though. I lost a few good bitches, met some more bad bitches, and I be schooling them niggas. Pose for your class picture like a slurs. You ain't getting nerves, so I'm scared. I lost a few good bitches, met some more bad bitches, and I be schooling them niggas. Pose for your class picture like a slurs. You ain't, I'm getting nerves, so I'm scared. I'm on that good cushion at the house. I got some damn I can come. I don't know what I would do without y'all. I'm about to the day I found out. Yeah, long as my bitches love me. Yeah, I can give a fuck by no hate as long as my bitches love me. Yeah, I can give a fuck by no hate as long as these bitches
On the mound for the Coyotes is the tall, cool one, Daniel Hutchison. Behind home plate is Mandina. At first base, Easton Bryant. Second base, Blake Tigas. Shortstop, John Enright. At third base, Ethan Hatch. In left, Amir McGee. In center, Ben Hashisaki. And in right field, Ryder Hancock. And he takes aim at this Scottsdale post-grad lineup. Starts with Eddie Hernandez, Logan Warden, and Jack Hogan. And back on the mic, the doctor that is all good in the universe, and that is Adam Perry. And Doc, look, you were in that dugout last year and in the broadcast booth as well. And,
yeah,
you know, for Scottsdale post-grad, look, this is their Super Bowl. They want to come here and get a win.
absolutely. And, you know, we saw the first game didn't quite turn out in their favor, but this is a clean slate here, and this is a fresh game, Joe. Anyone can win this one.
So Hutch starting this off with a low fastball, comes right back and throws some gas in the outside corner, swinging for a 1-1 count. And this is a young man who spent his summer across the border in Canada, getting his work in. And Doc, what does that say about a young man trying to better his game, going across, whether it's, you know, in the independent league back east or across the border to get some work in, to get prepared and try to take that next step?
Yeah, you know, I had the privilege of talking to Hutch about this, actually, and he told me he had, you know, just a lifetime of experiences he gained over there over the summer, and, you know, good for him. He said long bus rides, packed out crowds, and a whole lot of baseball, so he definitely had a positive summer experience, and that's seemingly translated because he's making the start here today.
He's got a 3-1 count as he dials in on Eddie Hernandez. And talking to his dad, Paulo Hutchison, in the games across the border, big swinging strike by Hernandez, and that was a 3-2 pitch, so the first out is recorded. Stepping in is Logan Warden. And Hutchison and his teammates were treated like celebrities across the border. After games, they were signing autographs, and all the kids were taking pictures with them. And, I mean, how good is that? You cross the border, and all of a sudden you're getting all kinds of love as he dials in a fastball for strike one.
Yeah, definitely a good experience for him, and, you know, take some of the pressure off in playing in these, you know, I wouldn't say empty crowd games, but, you know, around 100 people maybe at a game. And from what I heard, he was playing in front of thousands and thousands up in Canada. So, I mean, that's just an awesome experience to have as a freshman.
And, Doc, when you're playing in front of thousands of people, talk about the adrenaline rush that Daniel Hutchison was probably going through every time he was on the bump.
Yeah, must have been a whole world of fun on the bump for him, and this one is fouled off to the right side, out of play.
A 1-2 count. Beautiful conditions. The bulk of the Chandler Gilbert baseball season will start early afternoon. Talked to head coach John Watson about that. He said, look, last year, a lot of cold night games I couldn't handle anymore. So they switched, a little bouncer to third base. Hatch on the throw over to Easton Bryant, and that is the second out of the inning. And so the bulk of the games this year, Doc, will be in the daytime, and they'll play under hopefully a lot of great conditions here at Chandler Gilbert. Please keep in mind, for all those baseball lovers out there and everyone who supports the teal, white, and orange, all the games are free to the public. So you want to see some good baseball come out and watch this Chandler Gilbert team, nationally ranked, a team that, and this one is scorched, and Amir McGee's going back, and this one is leaving the yard. Jack Hogan touching them all. First pitch, solo shot, and Scottsdale post-grad jumps on the board.
And this is a very, very similar scene to what we saw in the first inning of last game. Jacob Anderson let up a 2-run shot at the top of the first, and that was just about all the noise that post-grad would make in that game. And they started off in a similar fashion. Leadoff, not a leadoff, apologies, but solo shot right there.
Stepping in, Giassi Rushton, the first baseman. So Scottsdale post-grad coming and building some early momentum on the bomb by Jack Hogan. Anytime a visiting team can come on the road and get on the scoreboard first is paramount. Hutch tries to bust him inside, misses, goes to 2-0. Defense playing Rushton straight away. Great defense behind Hutch. Sometimes you just got to hum and throw and give your defense an opportunity. Amir McGee in left field. Amir coming in. And if Amir looks a little wider to you from this point of view, it's because he's put on about 100 pounds of muscle. And we'll talk more about that in between the break. You're watching the Coyotes and the Scottsdale Post-Grad. Coyotes coming up to swing the sticks in the bottom of the first right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network. Automatic when he gets to first base, Doc. 27 steals among the league leaders in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, he's a multiple threat player. He has so many aspects to his game, and don't sell out on that speed and try and play him short because he'll hit the ball right over your head. And that one brushes him inside. So Ben Hashizaki will kick things off for the Yotes in the best way possible. He'll reach first base, and that brings up Dante Turgeon.
And when I say Dante Turgeon, I say pure lumber. A man who hit 340, but you know what's really impressive about Dante is he spent a lot of time. He went to Alaska to play baseball in the offseason, and he knows that he can't be a one-trick pony if he wants to make it to where he wants to go. We all know what a great offensive player he is, among the league leaders in average home runs and RBIs last year, but he played defense and became a competent outfielder, and John Watson said he's at that point now where he's becoming a really good outfielder, whereas last year he might have been a liability.
Yeah.
And he shows some patience at the plate as Haas steals second base. And Doc, what does that say about, as we talked about Daniel Hutchison and Dante going to the other side of the world to see polar bears and snow caps to improve his defensive game?
You know, it's just great. It's great that baseball can open up so many opportunities for people to, explore the world and meet new people and add to their families. And Dante Turgeon put a charge in that one as it lines out. Foul out of play. We go to 2-1.
So the young man committed to improving his defensive game, and the great thing about me calling Chandler Gilbert basketball games and seeing Steph De Silva and seeing Andre Harris and all the men's basketball players is we see the fellow athletes like Dante and John Enright. They've made it over to say hello, and so this is a very close-knit campus. And Steph De Silva, just a short time ago, talked about it, the unity. It's like a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a family atmosphere. And Dante goes the other way, punches one to right. That's going to drop. Dante's got extra bases. He'll stroll like a mountain of a man. He's got an RBI double, and this one's knotted at one. And talk about just seeing the ball and hitting it. And,
yeah.
And you just see how powerful Dante Turgeon is. Flared that one about 310 feet down the line the other way and just looked like he just flicked his arms out there, Doc, and made it look easy.
Yeah, that's all he needs to do, honestly, when you have so much power. And speaking of power, Easton Bryant, big country, comes up to the dish, and last game we got to see just a taste of that Easton Bryant pop.
Oh, Easton Bryant. Here's another young man who in the offseason was picking up trucks with his bare hands and knocks that one through the left side, and Easton will stroll his way down to first base. And John Watson talked about Amir McGee, Dante Turgeon, Easton Bryant just hitting the weights, just like committing themselves to the weight room, and you got to love that extra effort. And I think all these athletes on this Coyotes team, Doc, they know what's at stake. I mean, they're nationally ranked. They were on the verge. You guys were on the verge last year of going to the Division II World Series. Coyotes with a good homestand to start the season. A lot of non-conference action to get them ready. Taking on the GCU club team and now the Scottsdale Post-Grad. This one knocked the other way. Foul down the left field line. Ryder, good piece of hitting. And Doc, looks like Grassl's just trying to work that outside part of the dish.
Yeah, he's being a little bit picky right now, and it's working out in his favor. 1-2 is the count in this at-bat, but bases loaded, he's going to have to be careful.
Bases stacked, full of Coyotes. That one off the plate.
Again, as you mentioned, just picking away at the outside corner.
Good take by Ryder. And you know, for Ryder, he wants to start that first inning in a good way. You get that first hit, get the juices flowing, you're feeling good about the rest of your game, and then you just want to continue to swing the stick with authority. And that one just off the plate. And it's full. They are loaded. Hosh at first. Make that Turgeon at third, Bryant at second, Mandina at first. Hosh scored on the double by Turgeon. 1-1. Ball game, and now it's 2-1. Good piece of hitting by Ryder Hancock. Gets the RBI. And Doc, right there, Ryder Hancock showing some poise, laid off some tough pitches in the outside part of the dish.
Yeah.
And, you know, John Watson talked about for his team, he said these games early in the season, I don't want my team to just to think, oh, it's just the GCU club team. It's the Scottsdale Post-Grad. No, each game is its own entity, and he expects his team to go out there and take care of business and have that mindset on a day in and day out basis, because Doc, as you know, baseball is just not about one game. It's a marathon toward a finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that these Yotes are really trying to iron out this year is not taking any innings off, even when they can, because that's when things get ugly and sloppy, and that sloppiness can carry over. We saw it a few times last season where it was a pointless error, but still there'd be an error, let's say in the middle infield, a bobbled ball, and something that should be routine 100 out of 100 times for these Yotes. And of course things happen, but you don't want to let them become acceptable. You don't want to be okay with sloppiness, and the Yotes have done a good job of ironing out that aspect of their game so far this season. Enright fouls that one off. We go to a 1-2 count now. Bases still juiced and no outs here in the bottom of the first.
Enright with an opportunity to bust this one open early. John, big cut. Fouls that off to stay alive. Enright at the dish. Jumpin' John, 250 last season. Now in his sophomore year, and he made it a point to hit the weight room as well.
Yeah.
And John's a man of the people. I mean, doesn't matter what sporting event, soccer, volleyball, basketball, John Enright should run for mayor of Chandler Gilbert because he would win it easily. And that one's fouled off. And Steph De Silva would be the first to say that John Enright is a man of the people, because John Enright is everywhere.
Yeah, he's all over. And that's great. He's a Yote through and through.
Absolutely. He bleeds teal. 1-2 count.
Oh!
That locks him up inside.
That one really up and in on the hands, but Johnny E will head back to the dugout.
Stepping in, one of the toughest players on the team, Ethan Hatch. And we say that because remember last year, Doc, that ground ball that went off his face at third base.
Yeah.
And he stayed in the game
Somehow.
to hit. And I think he got a hit in that game as well later on.
Yeah.
So Ethan Hatch, you can never test his toughness. He brings it game in and game out. You know, the funny thing at night, and you and I have been here to call so many games at night, the scoreboard's so hard to see at night. Daytime, wow.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful, easy.
Yeah.
1-0 count on Ethan Hatch. And that one skied to the right side. And that'll be out of the reach of the first baseman, who took a little bit of a late turn on that one.
Yeah, maybe he didn't get the right read.
Giassi Rushton got a late jump and keeps Ethan Hatch alive with the 1-1 count. Bases stacked. Coyotes answering with 2 in the bottom half of the first. Good crowd on hand. They catch the Coyotes on a beautiful night for baseball. This one bounced to the right side. Good play by the second baseman, and the flip over. And Scottsdale turns a pair, 4-6-3. But the Coyotes answer with 2 in the bottom half. We'll go to the top of the second, 2-1, home team. We'll go to the top of the second. Second inning for Daniel Hutchison. He'll face Jim Atchin, Garrett Reed, and Matthew DeFisher. First pitch from Hutch. And how about the tall, cool one on the bump, moving like a jungle cat for the easy 1-3 put out. And AP, he made that look easy, but that play for a pitcher is not easy.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, that's something that happens in a fraction of a second when you're on the mound. It's just whoop, throw your glove out there, hopefully you grab it, and he does. And I mean, once you have the ball in your glove, the batter's got no chance of making it to first.
Garrett Reed, the shortstop, steps in. That one fouled straight back.
Say again? 94 on the comebacker to Hutch, and yeah, fraction of a second is right. Cat-like reflexes for the tall, cool one.
Got to move fast, and that one's fouled out of play. So Reed with a couple quick strikes.
And a new addition to the face of Daniel Hutchison for this season is the lumberjack beard. And let me tell you, he rocks it. That thing is a well-grown beard.
Well, facial hair in the family is pretty well known.
Yeah.
I mean, all you gotta—
the apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah, all you gotta do is look at Paulo, and Paulo looked like he just came out of the forest and, you know, grabbed fish out of the pond with his bare hands.
Yeah.
And took a big bite.
Yeah.
With ease.
Yeah, I agree.
1-2 count. This one shot to the left side and right. Lazy liner pulls it in quickly, 2 outs. And Hutch's whole family's here. His mom, Jen, his sister, Audrey, who, by the way, is the all-time scoring record single-season goal scorer at Seton Catholic with 24 or 26 goals, one of the two. She was a relentless offensive player, and she was also relentless with a veracity on the field. If you were in Audrey's way, forget it.
Yeah.
You were
She's
either
picking up the card.
Absolutely. The yellow card, the ref had it handy at all times. But she was a phenomenal soccer player.
Hutch. Disgusting on the bender. 0-2 is the count, 2 outs here. And Daniel Hutchison is making quick work of the Roadrunners this time through.
Matthew DeFisher, the catcher, stepping in. He's got some work to do, trailing 0-2. That one's fouled straight back.
Yeah. And for Hutch, I mean, what a big improvement to add that to his arsenal over the offseason. That beard really is paying dividends here today. Matches the color of his hat as well, and that thing is sharp. 0-2. Bender gets him swinging. The Fisher goes down, and the Yotes come up. We'll be right back where the Yotes are going to look to expand on their one-run lead as we head into the bottom of the second. The score, Coyotes 2, Roadrunners 1.
Supposed to go out there for like a semester of college, and I ended up never leaving. It's that energy on the dance floor that I think has, helped house music completely thrive from there. There's definitely like the leftover hippie vibes from the 60s, etc. Something going on every night. People there are fun. It's just, yeah, I love it.
San Francisco, where's your disco?
I personally
Bottom of the second, Blake Tigas, Amir McGee, then the top of the order. Ben Hashisaki, the fighting Canadian, going up against the lefty, TJ Grassel, who surrendered them with the bases loaded in the bottom of the first to escape and only allowed 2 runs. Blake coming off last year, freshman season, 262. And the great thing about Blake Tigas, Doc, you could put him anywhere on the field.
Yeah. He's just a competitor, flat out. He wants to play baseball. He wants to swing the stick, and he does a pretty good job at it.
Versatility, you can put him at third, short, second. Put him in the outfield as well. He's just a baller. 1-1 pitch. Ooh. That's what you call the slow bender.
Yeah.
That takes it to 1-2. Grassel finding a little bit of a rhythm here in the bottom of the second. And Tigas trying to break that up. Takes that inside. Two-two pitch. Grassel to Tigas. Scottsdale playing him straight away. That misses high and outside.
So let's make it full now. And something to look out for this season is around this time, the sun is in a terrible, terrible spot for the outfielders. You can see the right fielder putting his glove up, trying to shield the sun, as well as the second baseman. And that's something that plays a huge factor here at this Chandler Gilbert baseball field and for both sides. So Tiggs fouls off the 3-2 pitch. We'll do it all over again. And Blake Tiggs still looking to lead things off for the Yotes.
3-2 pitch. Tiggs in a battle.
Oof.
And he'll take one inside. And Doc, you know what that means?
What does that mean, Joe?
Runner at first, on base percentage 1,000.
Yeah.
And That's happened to my daughter in a club game the other day.
Yep.
She got hit the first time in her first plate appearance, and then had a sac fly next time up.
There you go.
And I told,
Yeah.
and my daughter was like grumpy. I'm like, you had a great game.
Yeah, that's
on base
phenomenal.
percentage 1,000, sac fly RBI.
Yeah,
You had a great game.
absolutely.
Can't discount getting on base any way possible. Tiggs is going, and the shortstop was not even close to being there. And that is by no means an error on the catcher.
Nope.
That's a lack of recognition by the shortstop. He's got to be there, and the catcher behind the dish made a nice throw. The shortstop wasn't there, and Tiggs loses his batting gloves in the process, but he'll scoop back to third. Now Amir McGee's up and talking to his dad, who's here. Amir's got family all over, back east, Philadelphia, but Amir put like 20 pounds of muscle on.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, Doc, when I came in, he was like crushing bricks in his hands just for fun. And that was just to warm up his fingers.
Yeah.
You know?
I heard that the infield was a little bit lacking of dirt, so he crushed up some more.
Yeah. He basically was curling a couple motorcycles before the game to get loose, and here he is. But he looks fantastic, and once again, that just shows you the amount of dedication that these young players are putting in for this season.
Yeah.
In some cases, the last go-around for some of these gentlemen in a Coyotes uniform, and look, for them, it's all about the D2 World Series, Doc.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, there's no secret. That's where the Yotes have their eyes set on this season, and they have every single piece in place to make it happen. It's just a matter of actually getting it done and executing for the Yotes.
Amir with a 2-1 count, make that a 3-1 count. And that misses upstairs, and he'll get the free pass. So we go back to the top of the order. Coyotes with runners at first and third. And here comes Hosh, hit by a pitch his first time up and scored on the double by Dante. Hosh last year scored 33 runs.
Oh,
And
that one.
Might have buzzed the helmet just a tad, but strolling in, Blake. And Blake scores, and it's a 3-1 Coyotes lead.
And the coach is trying to ask if that might have hit the bat or the helmet of Ben Hoshizaki. So they'll confer. That is the home plate and field umpire. They'll confer real quick, and we'll see what they decide. But so far in this contest, things have been going well for the Yotes. And, Joe, what do you think the Yotes need to do to continue this streak of goodness?
Well, right now it's all about, as John Watson watches his team, is to have good quality at bats. Control the zone. Anytime a good player comes to the dish, is to control the zone, look for pitches they can handle, and obviously Grassel's falling behind in the count, so Coyotes be patient, right? If he's going to throw outside the zone, don't chase, because soon enough you're going to face pitchers that can throw dots on the corner, dots on the inside part of the plate. So right now it's really about, in these early games, and correct me if I'm wrong, Doc, it's about plate recognition, knowing the strike zone, feeling comfortable, feeling good at the plate. And that's what these early games against GCU, Scottsdale Post-Grad, get the familiarity of facing live pitching again with the live bullets coming at them. Hosh puts one down.
Just foul. And we saw the beauty of a bunt by Trey Mandina earlier in this one. Hosh tries to replicate it, but is just barely unsuccessful.
Mandina's bunt is what you call textbook.
Goodness gracious.
Like if you look in the baseball encyclopedia by Tom Amansky, great bunt, Trey Mandina's bunt is the perfect layout. 1-1 count. Hosh gets brushed off, but takes it inside for 2-1. Good crowd on hand. A lot of Coyotes fans here. Also Scottsdale bringing their fan base as well. Runner at second is Amir. Hash thought about it, pulls it back. On deck is Dante, who ripped that double down the line. 3-1 count. 3-1 Coyotes. 2 in the first, now 1 here in the second. Hash takes a bender. And we go to 3-2. Hash, another young man on this Chandler Gilbert Athletic Campus. During soccer season, Doc came over, said hello. 3-2 pitch. Grassel steps off. Chases Amir back for a split second. We'll do it again. Chandler Gilbert is so fan friendly, you're allowed to bring your dogs.
Yes.
You can bring your dogs to the stadium.
Lenny is in the crowd.
Yeah. Lenny Hutchison. He's a Dalmatian. He looks like he's semi-happy, or he looks like he might be just a little nervous. Like he needs a treat or needs to be walked. He's wondering, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I like to be in the comforts of my own home. Instead, he's in the stands and trying to understand his place in the universe right now. 3-2 count. Hash with an opportunity. Grassel. And Hash just being pesky at the dish. And you love to see that, right? From your leadoff batter, work the pitcher, work the count, work that pitch count up.
Yep.
And Hashisaki doing just that. The Fighting Canadian also played hockey growing up across the border. And Doc, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Hash, playoff time, his grandmother was here and we said hello to his grandmother?
Yeah, I believe so. And, you know, we've gotten to meet so many great families from this Coyote squad, and I can't wait to meet, you know, even more this season. If you're watching the broadcast and you do happen to come pop in to the field in person, please walk up to the broadcast booth and say hello to me and Joe. We'd love to meet you guys.
Absolutely. Let us know what part of the universe you're from. We'll give a shout out to that region.
Yeah.
East, west, north, south. We'll say hello to everyone out there that supports the Coyotes. This one smoked through the left side. Dante delivers again. Amir will turn, and Amir comes in, and it's a 4-1 Coyotes lead as Dante picking up where he left off last year. Another RBI base knock, and the Coyotes are rolling here with 2 in the second.
2 in, 2 on. Runners on first and third, and it's big bad Easton Bryant coming up to the dish. And Easton has already dished out a world of hurt here today. He had a 3-run blast in the first game as well as a double in the gap, and he now looks to keep things going in the second game.
Now, depending on who's scoring the book, that's why I was hoping to get on Game Changer. 8 up the shortstop and a backhand. Some might have said E6, others might have said base knock. So I don't have Game Changer up, so let's just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, base knock.
Base knock. So Bryant, 1 for 1 in the day. Runners at the corners. Easton also, as we mentioned earlier, spent a lot of time in the offseason in the gym, pounding the weight. And a runner's coming home, and the runner will score. And heading to third base.
That is just crazy from the Yotes.
How about Hashizaki? Kind of a delayed steal, and
yeah,
there was a missed sign somewhere in there, Doc.
Yeah.
It needs to say Hash looked like he was held out to dry, but Scottsdale couldn't deliver and just getting the ball to home plate. So Hash scores, and it's a 5-1 lead.
So a double steal for the Yotes pays off, and that one might have been coordinated as Tate Lewis took a fall in between first and second base. But now Easton Bryant still has a job to do. He's got a runner in scoring position and a bat in his hands. No outs. And the fate of the universe on his shoulders. Not quite.
Yeah, Easton with an opportunity. Runner at third, of course. These are situations the Coyotes, when they get into league play, want to be able to capitalize, especially with no outs, to have a runner in scoring position. Easton lays off. Goes to 1-1. Tomorrow night, the women's basketball team takes on number 6 Mesa at Mesa, and the men's squad, ranked in the top 20, will suit up as well at Mesa. And if you haven't had a chance to see both the women's and men's basketball teams, very good. Fletcher Brown creating a great culture with the women's basketball team, building his team, and Steve Silsby's got a team, when it's all said and done, Doc, has a chance to compete nationally. And this one is sky deep right or down the right field line. The right fielder coming in and tagging at third base, and thought about it for a split second and going back to third. That was a long fly ball to right. Making the catch was Eddie Hernandez for the first out. Stepping in, Trey Mandina, or might have a pitch hitter here, correct, Doc?
Looks to be, we'll see here in a second. No, this is Trey Mandina, I believe, number 14, and
absolutely it is.
He will foul the first one away towards the right side. We go to 0-1 with 1 out. So Mandina in the box, 0-1 with 1 out here. Runner on third, and that one is going to sneak right by Mandina. Strike 2 on the heater.
And a big swing, and Mandina right through it for the second out. So an opportunity. Ryder Hancock stepping in. Tate Lewis at third base. Ryder Hancock coming up. RBI walk his first time up. And this one lifted to right. Hernandez under it and makes the grab, but the Coyotes make some damage, make some noise here in the second. They played 3, 5-1 Coyotes heading to the third.
Time, but there's no guarantees. When I was broke, she was being a tease. 4 pockets full, now she down on her knees. Whoa, 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 baby, gon' hit it and send it to me.
Top three. Daniel Hutchinson, his third inning of work, gave up a run in the first. Colin Thorley, Donovan Davis, and Eddie Hernandez. Hutch upstairs for ball one. Hutch looking to build off a promising freshman season. Fires the strike inside. As a freshman, 3-2 and 28 and a third innings worth of work. 30 strikeouts, 9 walks.
Beautiful bender right there for strike two. And Hutch is settling in here in his third inning of work. 1-2 is the count.
Hutch working quickly. Outfield slightly shaded to right center. And that misses upstairs. Well, that might have been a foul tip.
Yeah, just fouled it off. Barely. Almost hit him on the hands. A good pitch by Hutch.
1-2. And Hutch bounces that one in the dirt. Trey Mandina getting a little bit of a workout right there. Trey handles that with ease. Straps the helmet back on and said, let's do this. Let's get it going. 2-2 pitch. Hutch skies this one straight back. Might have an opportunity. And that bounces just to the right. We thought Audrey Hutchison was going to catch it, but she decided not to show her soccer skills and her athletic ability here. She's like, look, I'm retired from athletic competition.
Yeah.
I'm a spectator now. I don't have to do anything anymore.
And Danny Smith almost got a piece of that one as well, but unfortunately he got caught up in the broadcasting wires and stuff, so.
That one skied out of play on the right side. You can't ask for better weather tonight. My goodness,
no.
you know, I brought a couple jackets after some of the frostbite conditions we suffered last year.
Oh boy.
And yes, for people out there, it does get cold in Arizona. I know you don't think it does, but it really does. But the weather here absolutely tonight is fantastic. 2-2 count. Hutchison. And dials it up. Thorley. Swinging, actually looking, I should say. And Donovan Davis checking in. The center fielder. Hotch in center, slightly shaded to right center. That one stung the other way. So Doc, about 2 1/3 innings in, what are you seeing from Hutch on the mound?
You know, I'm seeing a lot of composure from Hutch, and that's something that I wouldn't say he lacked last year, but it's something that he didn't really have cultivated yet, and there's no surprise there. He didn't have the experience. You know, he's coming in as a freshman, but this year, you know, he picked up his 14 appearances last season, and he's taking it all in stride. And obviously, you know, you don't attach yourself to results, and especially not your freshman year in the ACAC. It's such a competitive conference for Hutch. He knows who he is as a pitcher, and he knows who he was last year. He knows the improvements he made, and it's showing here today. He looks great on the mound against the Roadrunners.
He's got a 1-2 count. Has already chalked up 3 strikeouts. Looking for his 4th. And this one, shot to center. Hosh, a couple steps in for the second out. Eddie Hernandez checking in. Struck out his first time up. On deck is Logan Warden. Fans on both sides have come here to support the Coyotes as well as the Roadrunners. Scottsdale. Doc, I don't remember Post-Grad having purple uniforms last year.
So they went through a bit of a rebranding. They're not Scottsdale anymore. They're Post-Grad Sports. They're still the Roadrunners, but you're absolutely right. Last year they were kind of orange and a blue color. Now they went with the orange and purple. So a wardrobe change for them, and it doesn't matter. The Yotes are still here to handle business. they could be a rainbow team, and the Yotes don't care. 0-2, 2 outs.
Hutch locked in. This one bounced to the right side, coming over. And the good flip, good play at second base by Tiggs, and we'll go to the bottom of the third. Hutch doing the job on the mound, and the Coyotes looking to do the job at the plate.
Lot of model check for me, but don't check for me unless you got checks for me. I kept a stick like a hobo, no checking me. Way back when D-Lo had the spot in Church Street. So many hoes had to get a bisect to me. She left her body home and brought her net to me. I did a walk through, they sent a jet to me. Y'all show price less than my trophy. One of my arms were fatigued. Watched so much that a car came with it. Back in the day, I used to run with no mask on. From my wrist, I would've killed the whole house for. And I went to school high, I ain't go to class though. I was with the OG, learning about the glass though. Coming with the dudes, 5 mama, keep my hair, bro. Break yourself, you can brains on the dash though. I'm with Sid and Lil Baby, yeah. We got 4 choppers that's full. Way before rapping, on God, I was trapping. Sneaking my Glock and liqueur. I got my cake from Osama bin Laden. Little nigga, signed it. Straight up, I'm for a gang. If you reach for my chain, and a nigga signed it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, wagon, y'all doing that big cat too. I ain't with the Freddy crew. Close thing, y'all get into a handshake is the beat clap too. Yo, mama gon' have to make a GoFundMe. Y'all keep doing that sneak jab, bro. Gucci had to kill the whole woods just to make Young Savage this motherfucking meat jack. To the top of the car. You don't know about the law. You don't know what I saw. Can't be without it. How you still for the war? Chase out deposit. Money just.
Bottom of third. Stepping in, John Enright. Struck out looking his first time up. Grassel going into his third inning of work. Gave up 2 in the first, 3 in the second. Dante Turgeon, RBI singles in both innings. Make that a double in the first and a single in the second. Bender misses outside. So they went through the rebranding, Doc, but still, the mission is still the same. Come here and get a victory.
Yeah.
Because I remember last year when they came here, Doc, it was so intense. They were heated in that dugout.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
borderline, you know.
Yeah.
The juices are flowing. I'm not going to say they were arrogant or cocky or anything, but no question they came here with a purpose.
Definitely. Definitely came here with a purpose, and this ball sat on and crushed John Enright. See ya later off the scoreboard. Bondo gets it done, and out of nowhere as well. John Enright with a huge blast for the Yotes. Sound the horns. And that'll put the Yotes up now 6-1 here in the third inning. John Enright with his first college home run ever.
Johnny Bomb Squad, looked like that one touched the bottom of the scoreboard out there, and you heard him how fired up when he crossed that plate. He was like, let's go. He was so excited, and that's when you talk about that first home run in college, you know that's a special moment right there.
That's great, and I mean, he's had a phenomenal day today. He had a base-clearing double in the first game that he stretched to a triple. Pair that with another hit, and then that home run blast. I mean, John Enright is putting together a career day for himself here.
Stepping in, Ethan Hatch bounced to a double play his first time up. Takes one on the inside part of the dish. Goes to 1-1. Grassel feeling the wrath of the Coyotes. Turgeon with a double the other way for an RBI. Then a Turgeon base knock for an RBI in the second. Now it's jumping John Enright, showing all that muscle in the offseason he put in the gym and leading to the solo shot here. And once again, Doc, it's what John Watson alluded to. It's about taking care of business. Doesn't matter the opponent. Take it seriously. Come with a purpose. Come with an attitude.
Yeah. And, you know, one of the things worth mentioning is that post-grad definitely has, you know, calmed down a bit this year. Obviously, they cycle through new guys in every single year, and this group is obviously less rowdy, if you will. So Ethan Hatch will fly out to right field, and he'll be the first out of this inning for the Yotes. Up to bat now, the second baseman, Blake Tiggs.
And Tiggs started off the second inning, got hit by a pitch and later scored. Mr. Versatility, and that is what Blake is. He can do a little bit of everything and does a little bit of everything oh so well. Chandler Gilbert preseason polls as of today ranked 18th in the top 20. And this is coming off the great year last year and just missed out of going to the Division II World Series with the heartbreaking Region 2 loss to Glendale. And Doc, you were here for those games. You called them. How painful was it to see all the hopes and dreams come crashing, especially on home field?
Terrible. And, you know, especially to a team that, you know, us Yotes thought that we should have had the better of. But, of course, when you're on that diamond, no prior games or outcomes have any bearing on the game.
Glendale, hats off to the team. They came on the road and won the series, and they moved on. Now a 2-1 count to Blake. Blake showed bunt, pulls it back. Good poise by Blake. And Blake is also a man in the campus. Called some soccer games this year. He came over and said hello.
Yes.
3-1 pitch. And that one's fouled off. A little cue shot to the right side, off the handle. And Doc, you've been in the situations early in the season. How important is it for the hitters to get off to a good start, start feeling good about themselves, and start getting into an early season groove?
Yeah, you know, the earlier the better for these hitters to shake off the rust, and we've seen some of them shake it off big time already. But of course, as the season progresses and we start to get into conference matchups against arms that are consistently in the low 90s, things might change a little bit. That's another period of adjustment for the hitters, but early on, a lot of these Yotes look phenomenal at the plate.
Mayor McGee walked his first time up. One of the nicest players you'll talk to in that roster.
Oh, yeah.
Can go up to Amir and have a conversation any point. Good cut, fouls that one back. That'll send Blake back to first base. We'll go to the top of the order after Amir. Hashizaki on deck. Amir, power to all fields. Takes a big cut, comes up missing. Looks like Grasso might have took just a little bit off. Coyotes, of course. Here tonight, and that one is fouled off as well. Next week, they're back in action, taking on Southwest Oregon with a pair. And you got to know, for the Oregon squad, Doc, it's like a blessing. Come here in the sunshine, get away from the cold and rain and the overcast and clouds.
Yeah.
Get a little vitamin D, get a little sunshine going. Oh, that's a nice bender by Grasso. Freezes Amir.
And Amir McGee will go back to the dugout, unfortunately. I'm not too sure that I would have called that a strike, but of course, I'm in the booth for a reason.
Hashizaki stepping in. Got hit by a pitch and walked. Once again, on base percentage, perfect. Throw down, and that's a great throw by the catcher. Perfect gun, and by Matthew DeFisher. Guns down Tigges, and that is going to do it. Coyotes get one. We go to the fourth. They're up 6-1.
Small world we're living in, we're all set in stone. One life I've been living in, come on, let's go. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. Lord knows I'm not a fool, I'm just crazy for you. I can feel the way things go, Lord, what I do. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you. I wanna get high, I wanna get low. Come on, I wanna smoke a little split with you.
We go to the fourth. Hutch stretching it out. Has done a good job through 3. Has allowed only 1 run. That came on the home run by Jack Hogan. And stepping in at the dish, number 12, Logan Warden. Bounced to third his first time up. Hutch comes upstairs. Goes to 2-0. Hutch in that 4th inning of work. And Doc, first 3 innings, it's about finding your groove. And right now, what do you want to see from Hutch here in the 4th?
Well, I'd like to see everything that I saw in the first 3 innings, and we're off to the same start, 1 out. After the hard line drive from Warden, caught by Hashizaki out in center field, and just like that, we've got 1 down here in the top of the 4th.
Hash maybe moved a step or 2 for the putout. Checking in, Jack Hogan. Hogan reached the cactus his first time up. A 4-bagger, the only damage. And this one is just about the same zip code. And that one is kept in the yard by the fence. So Jack Hogan, not fooled whatsoever.
No, not fooled.
Stays in the yard, rips a double off the fence.
And if it were daylight out, that ball might have left the yard, but this field is haunted for whatever reason at night. The ball hits a wall somewhere in the sky and just drops. Very interesting phenomenon. And I mean, I've seen it happen over the past 2 years plenty of times, and Hutch benefits from it right there, as he just has a man on second now with 1 out and no runs across.
We call that the nighttime hole.
Yeah.
Off the 2-0-2. And Hutch comes upstairs, blazing inside, misses for ball 1. Giassi Rushton popped to left his first time up. And that post-grad dugout making some noise. And Hutch throws back. Post-grad, they got the jerseys on. They're coming here. They got pride in that dugout.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want to drop a pair. The rebrand look, now in purple. Still with that winning mentality. Big swing by Rushton. Now 1-1. Hutch. And this one is lifted in right center. And that's going to get past the right fielder. A run will score, and Rushton goes into second base, standing up. RBI double by Rushton. And in right field, maybe took a little bit of a bad angle, was Ryder Hancock. Needless to say, you get some of those early kind of fundamental mistakes out of the way. Coyotes still with a 6-2 lead. Jim Aitchen checking in. Bounced out his first time up.
Yeah. And, you know, so early in the season, you rather that, you know, mental mistake happen now rather than down the line when we're playing against Gateway in the second round of playoffs. So no biggie for Ryder Hancock. Brush that one off, on to the next.
That one is smack foul down the right field line. And Doc, I don't know if you noticed this, but everywhere you go, every grocery store you go to, right out front, it's the Girl Scouts. And
they're making their rounds, Joe.
And let me tell you something. I came home to a smorgasbord of cookies on Friday. My daughter had every box. My wife bought a buffet. And this one's bounced to Johnny Enright, and that gets by Johnny. Rushton's going to work his way in. So back-to-back defensive mishaps by the Coyotes. And a couple are in.
And Waddy will have a quick chat with his squad real quick, and no surprise about what this one is going to be about. Just got to tighten things up a little bit. So we'll be right back while the Yotes figure things out, and John Watson takes his trip to the mound.
So we're not pumping crowd noise into the telecast. That's the post-grad.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
They're fired up.
They're here.
They got their big boy pants on, and they're ready to do some damage. They've cut the lead down to 6-3, and Garrett Reed, who hit a lazy line drive to shortstop his first time up with an opportunity. Runner at first base is Aitchen. And Hutch not letting off his gas. Looked like a little bit of a split finger in that outside corner.
Something gross. And, you know, it might have taken Scottsdale a little while to wake up, but they're going to try and make this one a game. They're putting the pressure on Hutch here in this inning. 2 have come across, 1 runner on first, and only 1 out. This batter is 0-2, though. Hutch deals. This one flared to the left side, and it's going to drop foul.
So back in the day, Paulo Hutchison used to catch his son. He used to put the catcher's gear on and man up, and then at one point he says, no more.
Yeah.
Hutch started hitting that high 80s and 90s. It's like, no mas, no quiero.
Yeah.
0-2 pitch. And that's belted foul on the left side. So post-grad all of a sudden, they're live and kicking, and they've got visions of grandeur in the latter half of this ball game to rally for a victory. And Chandler Gilbert wants to take a deep collective breath, start playing some defense, and go back to work in the dish. 0-2 pitch. Oh, and that's got him.
Hutch. Did you? Beautiful pickoff move from Daniel Hutchison right there. He was quick with the feet, quick with the hands, and the throw couldn't have been any better.
Caught Aitchen leading, and Aitchen won too many steps towards second base. His momentum had him pulled that way. And that is just an inning killer.
An inning killer.
I mean, look, you've just cut the lead to 3. You know, you're in a good part of the lineup. You got your 5-hole hitter up.
Ooh.
Last thing you want to do is take the bat out of his hands, and, you know, one stroke, it's a 1-run game.
Yeah.
And now it gives Hutch an opportunity to work around the plate a little bit. Hutch, 1-2 count. Now 2 outs. The pride of Chandler High. 1-2 pitch. And blows it right by him. So Hutch gives up a pair, but his defense did not do him justice in that inning. We'll go to the lower half of the 4th. Coyotes doubling up the Roadrunners, 6-3.
Yeah. Set coming in the microphone. Gotta put a step on. Yeah, hit a plate, straight it off the plate. Hey, gotta put the cap on. You know, time it took. Put a date on. Everybody sitting there till around here. Yeah, there's a lot of place on. Running through the money and keep calling. Hold up, she gon' have to wait on. BBS diamond dripping on my t-shirt. Reach for it, I'ma put your face on. Rolls Royce truck on the way, cashed out for it. Still had to wait on. Good belongs to the road down kind. Still had to pay for it. Pen coming in on iPhone. I'ma keep it 30 in my phone. I'm about burgers on my shoulder. Did me dirty, ran off on me. Plug did me dirty, took off on me. Lil' Hill just folded, got soft on me. I'm from the streets, you gotta pay with your life. I got away with the white, you just like your father, and he was a wreck. So that mean he raising the mice, yeah. I had to trap through the night, yeah. I put that pen on flight, yeah. I shot on them same night. Late in the bushes, a rainy night. I won't put them on no pedestal edibles. I'm trying to hit them the same night. I put you on the same flight. Cook up 10 bricks in the same pot. I chop up the same glove. The winning, you got the same watch. Why you compete with me? We are not playing with the same chick. It's murder, no murder for high. And death been stuck on my mindset. Coming in the money on phone. Gotta put a step on it. Yeah, hit a plate, scrub it off the plate. Hey, gotta put the cap on it. All time it took. Put a date on it. Everybody sitting there till around here. Yeah, there's a lot of place on it. Running through the money and keep calling. Hold up, she gon' have to wait on it. BBS diamond dripping on my t-shirt. Reach for it, I'ma put your face on it. Rolls Royce truck on the way, cashed out for it. Still had to wait on it. Plug around to the road down kind.
So TJ Grassel's night is done, giving up 6 runs, and now in right-hander, Nicholas Anderson. And Anderson in a situation where his team is pulled within 3, and Doc, he just wants to be able to give his team an opportunity to go back to the plate with a 3-run deficit.
Yeah, listen, I mean, for Nick coming in as this new pitcher here, you've got a lot on your shoulders, and the only thing that you have to be concerned with as the pitcher coming in this situation is just minimize the walks. Give your defense a chance, because we know that the Yotes can hit. We know they're going to rack up a few at least, and just do whatever you can to put the game in your defense's hands. If you walk a batter, you're taking the game away from your defense and handing it right to the Yotes. So we'll see what Ben Hashizaki can cook up here with the leadoff spot.
And Doc, it's funny you talk about the bullpen and throw strikes and avoid the walks. Hash rips one in the right center field gap, and that's going to drop. And Doc, Hash is on away his second, and he'll slide in, and Hash gets it going with a leadoff double.
And I cannot believe how fast Hash is. That ball was fielded perfectly off the one hop by the center fielder, and the center fielder put a gem of a throw on second base, and Hash got up and started hitting the floss right away.
Donovan Davis, good fundamentals in center. Now Dante Turgeon, RBI double to right, base knock, RBI in the second to left.
Let's make it Tate Lewis, as a matter of fact. Big 40.
That's right. Tate Lewis now in for Dante Turgeon. And by no means do we hear the PA announcer saying, now batting for Dante Turgeon. Tate Lewis.
I wish. One day here
One
at
day.
this Chandler Gilbert Sports Field.
And that's going to be a free pass for Tate Lewis as he gets hit by a pitch. So things all good for the Coyotes right now. Leadoff double by Hosh. Tate Lewis battling at the dish. And batting for Dante Turgeon. Gets hit by a pitch. Goes to first. And now it's Easton Bryant. Base knock the first time up. Flew out to right on a moonshot his last time. Coyotes up 6-3. Would love to be able to put this one away early. Trying to work Nick Anderson into some trouble here in the fourth. And Easton, big fella, trying to show some versatility and drop one down. And, you know, Doc, that right there is a lost start in baseball. But I think, and I love to see in this kind of game, that if the Coyotes, from anyone in that lineup who's in, they can get a bunt down in a critical situation come playoff time. You might need that situation in a small ball game where the pitching's tighter, the pitching's better, and you're not in some kind of shootout kind of ball game.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and that's something that the Yotes, they pound so much in practice and in their preseason games, is just getting the bunt down. Everyone 1 through 9 has to be able to bunt, or you won't find yourself a spot in this lineup.
And we talk about Nick Anderson coming out of the bullpen and trying to throw strikes for Scottsdale post-grad, and we know how good the Coyotes bullpen was last year. And I mean this when I say this about the pitching staff last year for the Coyotes. I called the D1 World Series in Colorado Springs, and the Coyotes pitching staff last year, Doc, if they would have made it to Division II World Series, would have had a chance because their pitching was so good. Throw down to third base and bang, bang play, and getting in was Hosh. Just beating the throw. Double steal by the Coyotes. So you gotta love the fact that Wani has the Coyotes going in the base path, and now an opportunity for Easton Bryant. A couple ducks on the pond. Opportunity to add some more. And I love being aggressive like that in base path. And even with the left-handed hitter up, you know Hosh, he's gonna get a good jump. This one's sky to the left side. Third baseman right there, and has to take a couple steps back and makes a nice play. Runners stay in place. Trey Mandina coming up. And first time up, Doc, textbook bunt base hit.
Beauty. Laid down a beauty. And now he's in a position where swinging the bat is going to be a lot more valuable than that. 2 ducks on the pond, 2 runners in scoring position. Trey Mandina up to bat, and he's got 2 men on, second and third, and Campbell's going to have a quick chat with him right now.
Conversation. Trey Mandina and Scottsdale post-grad bringing their infield in to prevent the runner from third base coming in, and a good move by Scottsdale post-grad once again. They've come here with a purpose. A rebranded team, now decked in purple and gray tonight. Lost the first game 15-2. Now Anderson on the hill trying to keep it a 6-3 ball game. Trey Mandina with other ideas. Base knock past the pitcher, would play to pair. And that misses outside. So give us kind of a, we didn't see much of Trey Mandina last year. Doc, give us kind of a synopsis of Trey Mandina and what you saw in his season with the Coyotes last year.
So Trey Mandina is actually a freshman for the Yotes, and he's part of that package deal that we have with Canada. And let me tell you, Mandina is a fighter in the box. He's great behind the dish. He might have one of the better arms out of this catching rotation for the Yotes, and at the plate he comes with some big pop and some skill as well, as we've already seen.
Mandina, 1-1 count. And that one Looked like Anderson took just a little off. Ball kind of floated in. Very reminiscent of slinging Sam Roberts.
Yeah. And, you know, we've got a carbon copy on the squad this year as Aiden Shoemaker has, you know, flipped things around with his delivery, and that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Trey Mandina swings through the breaking ball, and catcher's going to throw down to first, and a good pick.
Rushton digs it out of the dirt. So now it's up to Ryder Hancock coming in. Ryder walked with an RBI in the first and popped to right in second. And you know the Coyotes would love to play to pair here, and it's all about capitalizing and with runners in scoring position, and this one is ripped down the right field line. And you can hear that bench supporting Ryder. Ryder last year hit .302, 22 RBIs, 1 home run. And that one sails outside, evens the count. And Doc, it just seemed like a short time ago the Coyotes were here in the playoffs, good crowd, and they were handing out the free T-shirts and the free sunglasses. I've got a pair. I still wear. Yeah, or two. You know, Russ Luce, the AD, and Anthony Cox and the athletic department doing such a great job coordinating the festivities that day, packed crowd, and now here we are, a year later, the Coyotes trying to make that trip to the Division II World Series. Coach Watson and crew, game-by-game mentality. 1-2 count, Anderson to Ryder. This one lifted out of play. Once again, looks like Anderson's just taking a little bit off, Doc, trying to keep Ryder a little off balance, have him hitting on that front foot.
Yeah, he's doing such a good job so far of just barely missing the barrel of the Yotes. We've seen it in every at-bat so far, and good for him in being able to be deceptive here.
1-2, 2 outs, a couple runners on, and Ryder will sky this one. Outfielders coming in, and that might have hit off his head, and Ryder's on his way to third base. And Ryder will be thrown out at third, and that's a scary play right there, and we just hope the center fielder is okay. It looked like he might have taken that ball off his head or some part of his body, and that right there is just a little communication in place. Someone is calling for the ball, right, and the other player's backing off. It looks like that center fielder is okay as he works his way in. Coyotes get a pair on the Ryder Hancock double to center. We go to the top of the fifth. Coyotes with an 8-3 lead. So we go to the top of the fifth. Daniel Hutchison still in the game. He'll face Matthew DeFisher, Colin Thurley, and Donovan Davis. Davis, we hope the young man's okay after suffering that fly ball to the face in the last half of the 4th inning. Very scary play, but managed to run it off and get back to the dugout. And Hutch starts quickly with the swinging strike. Hutch having a nice outing here. Working fast, has only had one ball really squared up. Was the home run to Jack Hogan in the first. A couple balls hit fairly hard in the 4th, but a couple cleaner defensive plays, and maybe those 2 runs don't score. 1-1 count. Hutch working quickly. And this one shot right to the left of John Enright, and John moving quickly and smoothly to his left for the first out here in the 5th. Colin Thurley checking in, struck out his first time up. Hutch moves quickly on the mound, and that's a dream of any defensive player. After a while, pitcher taking his time, players, just like anything else, they're waiting for the action. Sometimes get caught off balance in certain situations. And this one ripped down the 3rd base line. Coyotes with an 8-3 lead. Won the first game 15-2. Started the season with a couple victories over the GCU club team. Coyotes with big time expectations, and that one is going to hit Thurley. So Scottsdale, or now as they're rebranded, just post-grad. 1 out, a runner on. Donovan Davis checking in. Line to center his first time up. Hashizaki slightly shaded to right center. Infield playing him straight away. First pitch. Bounce to the right side. Good toss and right. The flip. And the Coyotes make it look easy. Tiggs to Enright over to first base. A 4-6-3 gem. We go to the lower half. Coyotes with an 8-3 lead. Bottom half of the 5th, Coyotes with another look at Nick Anderson. Stepping in to take his cuts. Johnny Enright. Enright fooled on the first pitch, bounced to third, and that's a throw over. And John got down that first base line quickly for the first out. Ethan Hatch checking in. Bounced into a double play and then flew out to right in the 3rd. And we have a pinch hitter. Stepping in is number 3, We'll get you a name in 1 second.
And that'll be Keegan Ball, freshman up in the box. And Keegan living with Gavin Park, Colin Riff, and another Yodi faithful have, you know, really introduced Keegan to what it's like being a freshman here at Chandler Gilbert.
Keegan getting adapted to life off the 202 and Pecos Road. Hopefully he'll get introduced to Brooklyn V's Pizza, which we all know is so tasty. Paulo Hutchinson.
Yeah, I could use a refresher. I forgot.
How good that pizza is.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh.
And Keegan takes a little off speed, goes to 1 and 2. And sometimes, Doc, correct me if I'm wrong, as a freshman, you just want to come in, you got all this energy and excitement, and you want to perform so quick, and sometimes that translates, and for other freshmen, it doesn't.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of emotions going on, and as you mentioned, a whole lot of crazy energy. For some guys, it takes until their sophomore year until they really dial everything in.
Keegan will foul this one off to the right side. Stays at 2 and 2. Coyotes with an 8-3 lead. 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Anderson winding. Big, slow breaker, and that locks up Keegan for the second out here in the fifth. Checking in, Blake Tiggs, hit by a pitch, walked and caught stealing. First pitch to Tiggs. And Anderson has kind of like that deceptive herky-jerky kind of changeup, Doc.
Yeah.
It's like a floater, just kind of glides in there.
He's kind of just laying it right over the plate, and you know, it must look a lot different in the box because Blake Tiggs is gonna send that one for a ride. Of course, it's gonna hit the nighttime wall, and he'll end up on second base. But as we were talking about, the weird floaty changeup that kind of just looks like it hangs right down the middle, Tiggs takes advantage of it and just smokes it deep into the night sky.
Unfortunately, Tiggs got it into the 202 black hole, which kept it in the stadium. Instead of reaching the cactus and the coyotes and all the desert wildlife out there, he kept it inside the grass and inside the fencing here at the Coyotes field. So he's at second base, Amir McGee, and now we have a balk on Anderson. And Anderson just lost his place, and you know, that's a good base runner does, right? Causes a little commotion. Blake is at second base trying to stir the pot a little bit and make something good happen. Now Amir at the dish. Amir stepping in, and Amir was really, at the end of the season, one of the hottest hitters on the team. He finished at 266, 2 home runs, 13 RBIs. That one sails inside, and Amir lays off. Once again, Amir, Dante Turgeon, Easton Bryant, living in the gym, pounding the weights. And that one just floats in as well.
Wow.
Anderson has, you know, sometimes, Doc, for a hitter, sometimes the slow pitchers are a lot harder to hit than the faster ones, because the faster ones, it's coming one speed and you're timing it and you're just right on it. No time to, here you got to kind of wait, and the deceptive spin, and that one's going to get away, and coming in is Blake Tiggs. And how about the manufactured run by Blake?
Wow, I mean, that's awesome. And that's what the Yotes are all about, is just causing chaos and stirring things up when the other team gets a little comfortable. 2 outs right there, and Blake went from home to home, and that's just incredible, all on his own, and that is a well-earned Yote run right there.
Yeah, Tiggs was the instigator, kind of just gnawing at the post-grad team. The double, got on the base path and made some noise, got the balk by Anderson, and then scores on the wild pitch. So now it's a 9-3 Coyotes advantage. So glad you can join us right here on the live stream. All the good people here at Chandler Gilbert that make this happen. The doctor, Adam Perry. Yours truly, Joe Pequeno here. Coyotes won the first one here today, 15-2. Now leading the nightcap 9-3. And a walk by Amir. So the Coyotes making some noise with 2 outs. And stepping in for the Coyotes is number 2.
Aiden Krause steps in, and we saw Aiden at the center field position just a few days ago here to kick off the season, and good to see him back in the box. Another speedster for the Yotes, and looking to keep stirring things up here in this bottom of the 5th.
Aiden Krause went to Corona del Sol. Skies this one up on the left side. Giving chase is the third baseman and secures that. And that'll end the frame, but the Coyotes score another on the Blake Tiggs manufactured run. We go to the top of the 6th. Coyotes with a 9-3 advantage. So Daniel Hutchison's night is done, allowing 3 runs and 5 innings of work. Stepping in is Brandon LeBlanc, the fiery right-hander. Doc, give us kind of a breakdown.
Yeah, so LeBlanc, another one of our Canadian packaged sardines, is coming into this one to make his college debut. And, you know, I can tell you, I saw a lot of good things from this kid during the fall. Fastball was typically 86 to 88, and he has a wonderful arsenal of pitches, a nasty changeup, and I would say his best pitch is his curveball. Breaks the changeup off right there, and LeBlanc is in full speed so far. 1-2 is the count.
Nice changeup, little breaking action away from the left-handed batter. Comes right back with it, and that's the first punch out. Great work by LeBlanc to start this frame as Hernandez goes down swinging. Checking in, Logan Warden. Bounce to third and line to center. LeBlanc working quickly. That one bounced in the dirt. So, Doc, in between innings, we heard Michael Jackson beat it.
Oh, no. Yeah.
So, that's one of the top-selling records or CDs of all time. Can you name 2 more songs off that infamous album?
Yeah, let me say, oh, man.
Now, in fairness, you weren't born there yet.
Yeah.
Your mom and dad were probably still on the dating stage.
Can I say Billie Jean is one of them?
Wow, I'm impressed.
Billie Jean
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me also get. I don't know if it was the same album. Swinging strike 3. LeBlanc gets him. Beautiful pitch in the dirt. That was something nasty with some break on it. But let me go with Thriller. Is that on the same album or was that a single?
Very good.
Okay. Hey.
I'm
I'll take
impressed.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little well versed in my Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I have to say he is the king of pop.
Yeah.
So
and that album is one of the greatest of all time. Of course, on that album is Jack Hogan. Let's talk about his night first. Homered and then doubled to the fence, and he's not been fooled. He wasn't fooled by Daniel Hutchison, and now LeBlanc is going to try to sit him down for the first time this evening. Also on that Thriller album, Human Nature. Got to be starting something. PYT.
Wow. I mean, that is just a catalog of multi-platinum hits right there.
One after another.
Wow.
Michael Jackson was just rocking the world when Thriller came out back in the 80s, which is still one of the best generations of music ever.
Yeah.
You've had great pop rock like Van Halen and Motley Crue. You had great pop artists like U2, The Police, In Excess. Good change up in there for the second strike. Of course, Duran Duran in there as well. All kinds of fantastic music. 1-2 count. LeBlanc working quickly. And how about that?
My goodness.
What a debut. 3 Ks for the fiery Canadian. That's some quality work right there. And we'll go to the quality half of the bottom of the frame where the Coyotes look to show their worth at the dish. We go to the bottom of 6. Coyotes looking to do some damage against Nick Anderson. Stepping in, tantalizing Tate Lewis. And what a great year Tate Lewis had last year. Talk about really being an offensive juggernaut. Hit .343, 3 home runs, 39 RBIs, 11 doubles. I mean, what a 1-2 punch. Turgeon and Tate Lewis. And talking to John Watson, he feels this offense is going to score a lot of runs this year, Doc. And they've got speed at the top of the lineup. They've got thumpers, and they've got contact hitters in the back end, and that bodes well. And what we're seeing tonight as well is a lot of plate patience, and that is one of the greatest factors for a team and a lineup is the ability to work a pitcher, get deeper in accounts, and control the zone. Not going up there. Look, everyone wants to hit the ball 500 feet, right? But along the way, you got to find a pitch within the zone that you can control and handle it. And this one's lifted to the right side. Rushton giving chase, and that one just gets away. Good effort by the first baseman. So John Watson very, very confident of what this offensive unit is capable of. A team that collectively hit 287 last year, on base percentage of 384, slugging 396, 25 home runs. They scored 370 runs in 60 games. And Doc, that's an average of 6 runs a game. My basic math skills. I got out of 4th grade math with the C. So I was able to do some basic division there. And this one's sky to center field, and that's going to chase the center fielder back on the warning track. And Tate takes it off the wall, and tantalizing Tate walks in with a leadoff double. And we talked about how good this lineup is, Doc. There's going to be very few holes for opposing pitchers to face when they face the Coyotes in games that truly matter. And for this Coyotes team, they're stepping in and showing in these early games it matters to get those early W's and build momentum for the regular season when conference truly hits. And that was just a bomb straightaway center. Checking in, Easton Bryant. Bryant at the dish on the night. Base knock, pop to right, pop to third. And Doc, you've been privileged to see Easton Bryant in batting practice, and what kind of spectacle is that?
Yeah, I mean, Easton Bryant is just a monster in the box. He rakes in BP, in games, in the cage, you name it. The ball comes off a little different off his bat.
I got to tell you, 2 of the best players I've seen take BP of all time. First at Chase Field, Alex Rodriguez, when the Yankees stepped into town. A-Rod just knocking him out there. And we're not talking scrapes either. We're talking, 30, 40 rows deep, 390, 450 shots. And then in his first game in the Arizona Fall League, Bryce Harper.
Oh.
As a member of the Giants at Scottsdale Stadium, the brick house in center field.
Yes, I do.
I mean, Doc, he was just peppering balls off that. And I've never seen a left-handed hitter with that kind of bat speed.
Yeah.
And just the amount of torque he gets and his ability just to rifle that bat head through. So when he gets the bat head through, and no question it has the ability to leave the yard at any given stroke. So Tate walks down. Easton Bryant at first base with the walk, and now a couple on for Trey Medina. Medina, that beautiful bunt base hit. And Alex, I'll take game delays for 5,000, please.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen Celebrity Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live with
I haven't.
with Will Ferrell?
I haven't. No.
Okay, I want you
Am I missing out?
Yes. The Saturday Night Live Jeopardy skit with Will Ferrell, and you used to have the one actor who would do Sean Connery, and
Yeah.
the other would do Burt Reynolds. Simply classic. This one bounced to the left side, and third baseman making a nice play, getting up, but out of play. Runners will retreat. Medina trying to come through with a base knock and build on this 9-3 Coyotes lead. Medina with that textbook base hit. Little bunt down the third base line. Norm Macdonald played Burt Reynolds in those Saturday Night Live skits. Epic. And for our viewing audience, Doc, we got to keep it G-rated. So
We do.
We can't really go into detail about some of those skits, but needless to
Yeah,
say,
good stuff.
when you heard the Jeopardy music, I thought Will Ferrell immediately. One count, couple runners on. And Doc, I got to tell you, it's not cold.
Shockingly, somehow.
It is just perfect weather. I got 2 layers here.
Yeah.
I came. You're in shorts. I'm like, my
I'm
goodness.
in shorts and a short sleeve shirt, and I am more than comfortable, Joe.
Yeah, you came like summertime wear. I'm like, man, is he gonna make it? Will he make it to 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Will he go home and just be miserable and like
Well,
get a blanket and stay on the couch frozen trying to defrost? But no, Mother Nature cooperating. That throw down to second base.
yeah, I mean, last year, as soon as the sun set and it was pitch black outside, you were looking at a freezer or freezer-like conditions. And, I mean, here today, it's phenomenal. The weather couldn't be nicer out here on this wonderful night. And thank you for joining us from the comfort of your own home here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network.
Trey Medina opportunity. This one busted through the left side. Turning third and getting the hold up sign, and the Coyotes will have the bases stacked and packed. And that's a quality base knock by Trey Medina, shrugging off a couple strikeouts his last 2 times up. So good night for him, 2 for 4. Stepping into the dish. Number 21. Bases loaded opportunity. Change up. Swung right through it.
And up to the plate is the freshman Jackson Reed, and Jackson just another one of those toolsy outfielders for the Yotes. So many different aspects of his game, and bases loaded. We'll see which one he brings out here.
Couldn't lay off that bender inside. Anderson locks him up. And Jackson Reed gained that plate appearance as a freshman. Big spot. You know he wants to just put the ball and play hard, and hopefully the young man can find a spot here. Doesn't matter, a little flare somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that one bounces in the dirt. Try to get him to chase. And that's the most important thing, Doc. In this situation, look, if you just put a little flare somewhere, next day in the box score, looks like it was a bullet to left, bullet to right center.
Yeah.
No one remembers except that big one in the hit column. And Anderson takes something off, and Jackson Reed goes down swinging. Stepping in. Pinch hitter for Jumpin' John Enright.
And that'll be Zane Coggins, the freshman infielder, middle infielder that is, and we saw him play the shortstop position a few days ago. And, you know, he's from Corona del Sol as well, and they have a rich history of middle infielders over there. He's no exception. Kid's a stud, fastest hands I've ever seen in my life. And he's going to foul this one off.
And Anderson just really trying to baffle the Coyotes lineup with a lot of off-speed, not showing any hard stuff, making them swing through benders and change-ups and trying to keep them on that front foot, trying to get those hands forward instead of back. Big, slow bender inside. Scottsdale. Coyotes started fast, jumping out to a 6-1 lead. Post-Grad answered with a pair. Coyotes answered, tacked on another, and that's where we are, 9-3. This one smoked to left. Left fielder right there, but a run will come in. A quality AB. Sack fly, laser left, and that ball was tagged about 320 feet or so.
Yeah, and a great piece from Coggins right there. Can't hang his head about that, and anything out of the infield was, you know, much appreciated right there with no outs, and he got the job done. Now 1 out, runners on first and second, and up to bat is number 3, Keegan Ball.
Keegan Ball, last time up, struck out. Will have another opportunity to make his presence felt in this one. Couple runners on. Coyotes now up 10-3. And post-grad bench chirping a little bit. Didn't get the call on the outside part of the dish.
Yeah.
Umpires have done a really nice job in this game. No really critical calls have had to be made. Home plate umpires done a nice job as that one bounces in the dirt. Anderson lets one loose. 2-0 count. And John Watson right now, refreshing, using that bench, getting a lot of players in, getting some live ABs. Doc, and how important is that?
Super important, and I mean, for the Yotes, they have a lot of new players on the squad, a lot of freshmen, and you know, the more innings you can get them, the better. Keegan Ball puts a charge into this one, left center field, tracking back, and this one's off the scoreboard. Keegan Ball, are you kidding me?
Keegan Ball with the bomb to left center off the scoreboard, a 3-run shot, and the Coyotes now with a 13-3 lead. Welcome to the show. As Bruce Willis once said in the movie Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal.
And that would have been a walk-off jack right there for number 3 Keegan Ball, had this been the first game of the night. But because it's the nightcap of a doubleheader, we are playing a mandatory 7 innings, regardless of the score. So that would have done it for the Yotes here. But Keegan Ball's 3-run blast off the scoreboard is just going to push the Yotes lead to 10. No, not going to end the game here.
So the Coyotes have got a 4 spot. So we saw jumping John Enright hit the scoreboard, and Keegan.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Flexing and getting it done in roughly the same location.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really right towards that left bottom side, and good job by both of those men here today.
Now, Doc, when I win the Powerball, and it's just a matter of time,
yeah,
I'm going to redo the scoreboard, but how about this?
Yeah.
I'm going to get some of this one laced to left. Base knock by Blake Tiggs. Good job for him. How about we get like a big Jumbotron scoreboard, put that in center,
yeah,
and then we get some stands in the outfield.
I
all
like
the way
that.
around.
I like that. And, you know, while we're at it with that Powerball money, we might as well put a dome on it. Let's go ahead and enclose the stadium.
But do you really need a dome in Arizona?
No,
Come on.
no, you're right. That actually takes away.
But no, but we can build an indoor facility,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you look at the parking lot right behind us,
Oh,
all that area right up there.
A lot of open room.
Indoor facility, right? Hitting tunnels, pitching tunnels, little infield.
Yeah.
That can be done easily.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, so Tiggs is going to take off to second base. That ball gets away from the man behind the dish. And for the Yotes, things are going well. Up to bat now, Suave Luke Doris, the now sophomore for the Yotes. Didn't see much of the field last year, but he was another one of those guys who their target was this year, their second year. And they used last year to build that experience and, you know, get used to those game-heavy scenarios. And Luke Doris is one of the ones that adapted well, and we should be seeing him a lot this year.
But I love the intro to him, Doc.
Yeah.
Not just Luke Doris, but Suave Luke Doris.
Suave. You
so
know, yeah.
obviously he's a man of charisma and a man who can hold his own. And he's waited his opportunity. And when you come to a program like this that now getting that national recognition and in the top 20 coming off the great season last year, sometimes you got to wait your turn. And now Suave Luke has got his opportunity. 1-2 count. This one's scorched, and right now, all of a sudden, the Coyotes are finding their groove against Anderson and his floating changeups.
Yeah. And, I mean, good for the Yotes. This is a different start to the season than we saw last year. I mean, they've made short work of everyone so far this season in all 3 of their previous games, and this one is on the same track. The Yotes are really, really coming out strong this season. And, ooh, I'm not too sure about that one. LD, Luke Doris has rung up on the inside breaker. A good, well-placed pitch that'll get the job done. We'll head into the top of the 7th where the Yotes are going to try and hold on to a 10-run lead and end this one. We'll be right back with some more action.
fully. My life like a movie, get hit in the water. Cause I put in no work, I can order. I think I serious and millions of current. I'm living my moral. These ones been keeping no worries. I'm young and I'm turned out. Lord, my baby, my will cost me 50. I'm sturdy. I 5 million cash just in case you be merging. My yeah, he'll get away, they be first. And it happen like this, I ain't do it on purpose. I'm working my move. Move while you working. I turn on my coupe, all the coupe off the verses. I'm tired of these grippers. I'm going at nurses and doctors and dentists. You started, I finished. I told you we with it. My word is like gold in my city. I tell them to go, they gon' get it. I heard that you froze when they hit it. Putting these business, you know that you tripping. I tell them no, they gon' listen. No, I need these sweet some different. She tryna leave me, I'm low down. I ain't savage, I'm ready to go down. I'm going bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my cars get delivered with no mouth. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. Run through the low bar, the plug, I need more. I put on trip every day from the floor up. I'm getting sick of it, on some more. Yeah, color and shot in my driving ain't solid. I keep it on point, make sure nobody follow us. I gotta pull the shot, they can stop the truck. I get the money, they wait like the robbers. The low end, come and give all these choppers. A team full of players, ain't nobody stopping us. We gotta love you, then we popping them, been raising hell back in school, I was popping.
So last chance opportunities for post-grad. They're down by 10. And LeBlanc on the mound trying to close it out. Rushton, a big hack. Coyotes last year, record of 33-27. Doc, really good home record, 25-13. And the old adage is, got to play 700 ball on your home field, 500 the rest of the way, and you got an opportunity to have a big year.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. And I have to correct myself, ladies and gentlemen, because the man on the bump, his best pitch is not his curveball. It's his changeup. And his changeup we saw last inning mowed down post-grad. And Trey Mandina almost put a glove on that one, just out of his range. And Brandon LeBlanc, number 19 on the bump, has a wicked, wicked changeup, ladies and gentlemen. That's his pitch.
So I think we're about to dial that one up right now.
Yeah, just go ahead and punch that one in.
Rushton has been sitting on fastball, and now he's about to see something smooth and something off speed.
Yep.
Here it is, and there it is on cue.
Oh, my goodness.
And Rushton just swung right through that.
Wow.
He could have taken about 3 hacks in that one. He would have been so out in front.
Yeah. Good pitch.
So LeBlanc starting this frame in just the right way. Jim Otchin checking in. Bounced out, reached on an error by Jumpin' John Enright. Takes a strike. So a lot of fresh faces on the field. Some freshmen getting some opportunities. And LeBlanc, another good arm out of Canada, showing what he can do and just adding to a bullpen and a pitching staff that John Watson feels will be among the best in the conference.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Another beautiful off-speed pitch. Goes to 1-2.
Just wicked stuff from the freshman LeBlanc, and he's one of the guys that, Joe, we're going to see a lot of him this year.
That one bounces in the dirt. So the Coyotes next time they're on the field is a week from Thursday when they take on Southwest Oregon. This one shot foul deep down the right field line. They will start at 3, a little doubleheader action, 3 and 5:30. AP will have the call at 3, and I'll join him for the nightcap. 2-2 pitch, off speed, another beauty.
Just ridiculous.
LeBlanc just dazzling on the mound. And last chance opportunity, Garrett Reed. Line to short and struck out. Coyotes with 1 out away from pulling off the sweep. And that fastball breaks outside, and Reed, no answers for it. And Doc, LeBlanc coming in, working fast, attacking the zone, in total control of his stuff.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely full control and full domination right now from Brandon LeBlanc. We've seen him spike a few pitches, but I mean, that's water under the bridge when when you're pitching as good as he has been so far here today. 1-1 is the count. The pitch on the way is in for strike 2. And Joe, do you have any guesses at what might be coming? Because I have a guess, Joe.
I'm going to say it's going to be something smooth and something off speed.
I'm going to agree with you, Joe. Here we go, the 1-2. Oh, my
and there
goodness.
it is. And LeBlanc just simply dazzling. And how about his line score?
Yeah.
2 innings, 6 Ks. Wow.
Yeah, couldn't be any better for the freshman.
And someone give that man a high five and then some. So the Coyotes end this one in style, 13-3. They won the first game 15-2. And this one, they started fast with a couple in the first. And Dante Turgeon, the spark plug hitting in that 2-hole this year, got it going with that double in the first and then that RBI single, part of a 3-run second. Coyotes tacked on, getting 1 more in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 4 in the sixth. And we saw a freshman provide the long ball in the last frame.
Yeah.
3-run shot.
Yep. Keegan Boss. So a whole lot of positives for the Yotes and only a few negatives. And, it's good to have those kinks right now, and the Yotes can iron those out. And as we head into the real meat of the season, the Yotes will likely be, performing as expected. But here today, I honestly have to say the Yotes are ahead of schedule in terms of where they are in composure and collectiveness and cleanness on the field. I mean, we are seeing a complete baseball team. We've seen it the past 4 games now, and the Yotes have won in convicting fashion all 4 of their appearances so far this season, and things don't appear to be making any changes. So, Joe, next game?
So next week, Coyotes, a week from Thursday, will take on Southwest Oregon right here, a early matchup. And that one will start at 3, followed by a 5:30 matchup. I'll join Adam on the telecast. The men's and women's squad, tomorrow they're at Mesa. And then both squads are back home Saturday taking on Phoenix College with a 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock tip. Fletcher Brown leading the women, and Steve Silsby and his nationally ranked Chandler Gilbert basketball team. So good. If you have an opportunity, free basketball at a high level, Steve's team is playing fantastic basketball right over the Coyote Center, free to the public, as all games are right here at Chandler Gilbert. Good night for the Coyotes. They're off to a 4-0 start with the 15-2 and the 13 win over Grad. For Adam Perry and all the good people here at Chandler Gilbert, I'm Joe Pequeno. We'll see you soon right here on the Chandler Gilbert Sports Network.